Hey, before we get to today's great episode, wanted to let you know of a new exciting thing going on for the Lounge. For the first time since we started this podcast, the Lounge has entered into a partnership with a company that is aligned in how we think. Completely stop gambling. So Betttr is giving away 200 free subscriptions for life to the first 200 users from this podcast. Download Betttr, find the link in the show notes, or searching Betttr in your app store. So it's Betttr, BETTR, quit gambling. Search for that on the App Store or click into the link in the podcast show notes. So I'll see you on Betttr. And now to today's episode. Welcome into the Gambling Recovery Lounge. I'm Eric, and I'm a compulsive gambler.
And my name is Alyssa, and I'm also a compulsive gambler.
All right. So, Alyssa, for the people that are tuning in for the first time, let's remind everybody of our sort of recovery timeline. How long has it been since you made a bet?
I have not placed a bet or had to lie about it since April 2nd, 2019.
All right. So over 5 years, and my date, June 15th, 2021. So I'm coming up on 3 years. So
Ooh, the big three. The
let's
big
roll.
three.
All right. So first, we're going to do a recap of experience number 5 last week, which was with Neil.
Fingers,
which was awesome.
Yep.
So, what was your take from all that?
I enjoyed it. Neil is a funny guy, but he's also really smart. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I know I heard it from a number of people that I think had a certain opinion or preconceived notion, maybe because they've had 1 or 2 interactions with him and walked away from that podcast with a completely different perspective, right?
Can't judge a book by its cover.
No, you can't. And I think we learn that in the rooms all the time. It's, before you make assumptions about anything, shut up and listen.
So, Eric, you had a big week this week, right? What happened? Tell us.
I did. There was a couple of huge things for me. On the recovery side of the house, so people that are involved with GA will understand what this means largely. Those that aren't will have no idea what this actually means. But I was elected last week to be one of the next trustees for GA, which means that it's a 2-year commitment of being of service to the fellowship. And, get to go to national conferences a couple times a year and represent the fellowship and the voices of our rooms for, the Los Angeles area, which is huge. And it keeps me totally dialed into recovery. And, that's what it's all about. So being of service to the fellowship has been a huge part of my recovery. And this kind of takes that to the next level. So I was super appreciative and grateful for that. And then on a life scale, I made a massive decision after a lot of contemplation for many months and, internal processing, angst, trying to overcome fear and face what has been known to me for a while. And I made a decision that the work that I've been doing in my career, which has been centered largely around finance in the corporate world for many, many years, to walk away from that. And that is because, sorry, go ahead.
Big step.
It was a huge step, and I think we often face, as we go through recovery, we face these moments of kind of that fork in the road of what's right in front of us and what path do we take? Do we go left or do we go right, or do we do nothing? And for me, somebody in recovery, one of the things that I've learned most is that my biggest character defect over many, many years, which got me into a whole lot of trouble, including being an addict, was an inability to process my emotions and face my fears. And this was one of these things where it was like, I'm just chugging through life. I'm punching the clock, if you will. I'm making a lot of money for a long time, but I don't really care about what I'm doing anymore. I don't feel good. I don't feel productive. I have no growth. I'm mostly miserable every day that I go to work. And it takes up, as we all know, with the jobs that we have, for the most part, it's like half your life. And if we keep going through life miserable because society says, well, this is just what you should do. You should just work and work and work for the paycheck and save and save and save. And then you get to some age where you maybe stop doing that, and maybe you're going to then retire, and maybe you're going to then go on trips or whatever you're going to do. And then what? And then you just die. And I really have taken a lot of self-reflection in my, coming up on 3 years in recovery, and taken a lot of inventory of what my life has been as an addict and where I'm at today. And I just came to that place of, I don't want to waste any more of my life wasting my life on things that do not matter to me. And my job and my career was front and center of that. And so, I took a leap of faith and I said, you know what, in order to make room for the things that I am passionate about, which largely centers around recovery and helping other people, and then living my purpose, which I believe is around the concept of be your authentic self and then share it outward with the world. In order for those things to become a reality, I had to make space for that, and when half your time is consumed by the misery you're in, there's no space for that. There's no space for that time-wise, and there's no space for that mentally. And sometimes making huge progress means get out of the bad situation that you're in and then let sort of the things come in that are supposed to come in. And so it's a little scary. It's a little uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for my partner, Edgardo, as we've talked about, because there are financial things associated with this kind of a decision that are a little scary, but at the end of the day, life's not about how much money you collect. And when I die, nobody's going to ask me how much money's in my bank account. They're going to probably ask, what did you do with your life? And now I have a chance, coming up on 52 years old in a month, to hopefully make some big impacts for me as an individual and for as many people as I hopefully can help along the way. So that was kind of the big thing that happened for me this week.
Well, congratulations, because that is a huge, huge step and a lot that many would not be able to take for whatever reason, usually fear. But I'm glad that you're not letting that hold you back. It's kind of inspiring.
Thank you.
So congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Whew. Okay. Let's go into tonight.
All right.
Experience number 6. When we talked about in week 1, one of the things that we wanted to bring to this podcast, a little bit unique, that other gambling recovery podcasts didn't necessarily focus on, at least the ones that we've been listening to, is not just an emphasis on the problem gambler, but also the emphasis on the people affected by the problem gambler. And a few weeks ago, we brought on my partner, Edgardo, and we interviewed him, and that had massive repercussions in terms of not just his own experience, but the so many people that we heard from after that episode of how they were moved by Edgardo's experience. And there's already been over 100 downloads of his episode, and people that have listened to that, and many have offered their personal expression of the appreciation of what his story was. And, we're going to do that now tonight in a little bit of a different way. So with that, do you want to introduce tonight's guests?
I would love to. Tonight's guests we have here in the studio, we have Jeff and Carlos, and they are a couple. One is a gambler and one is the loved one of a gambler. And we're going to discuss tonight their journeys. And it's going to be great because these two are amazing. Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey there.
I love it.
Thank you so much for having us. This is wonderful. Such a great experience.
Well, I hope you're not nervous.
Oh, no. Maybe just a little.
Just
A tad.
It'll go away, I'm sure.
It will. It will, I promise. Till Eric asks you a hard question.
through fear comes expression of love and all that great stuff.
So get fearful.
Cool. Let's kick it off. So the way we're going to kick this off, we're going to kind of break the ice. As we started our new segment last week with Neil, we talked about our recovery songs that are important to us as it relates to our journey. And last week, Alyssa and I got to share our songs. Neil shared his song. So we're going to continue with that theme tonight. So we're going to ask both Carlos and Jeff to share their recovery songs for what their journey is and a little bit about why that is. So, Carlos, let's start with you.
All right.
What is your recovery song?
My recovery song is by Casey Musgraves. It's called Deeper Well.
Ooh, Casey Musgraves.
Yeah, I love Casey Musgraves.
She's great.
So the song is basically about new beginnings. So she talks about experiences that she had in the past and how she learned and grew from them. So for me, I took that song as finding a deeper sense of wellness and finding myself and my soul and connecting with my higher power, which it's been great. That song has really touched me in a way that I don't think any other song has ever touched me. So I enjoy it.
We're going to add it to the playlist.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's going on the playlist. So you're going to sing it right now?
Oh, God, no. Everyone's like, all right, we've had enough.
Click
turn
on the
this
off
off.
button. Okay. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Carlos. Jeff, what's your song?
And for me, my recovery song is Never, Past Tense by The Rock Project featuring Tina Arena. The song is about a singer moving forward with her life, leaving an ex-lover behind and never turning back. And for me, the powerful song comes from the perspective of me singing to gambling, like a goodbye to gambling letter.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So it speaks on how I've learned so much in recovery, about myself, my addiction, and the pain that I endured while active in the addiction. But my relationship with gambling, it's over.
Yay.
Wow.
Well, that's something to
That's
celebrate.
powerful.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear this. I'm not familiar with this song, so I look forward to adding it to the playlist.
We are. Yeah, Alyssa's
Rocking
going
out a
to put
little
together a whole playlist. Of
Yeah,
all
and you'll
the
be able to
recovery
find the
songs.
playlist on our website, thegamblingrecoverylounge.com.
We'll be back in the Gambling Recovery Lounge. Welcome back into the Gambling Recovery Lounge. All right, so we're here with Jeff and Carlos. So we're going to start by asking Jeff what we ask everybody. What is the date of your last bet, Jeff?
I placed my last bet on February 22nd, 2022.
Nice.
Jealous.
So little over 2 years now. So if I asked you like 2 years, 3 months ago that you would never make a bet again, what would you have said to me?
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yep. Yep. All right. So Jeff, tell us a little bit about when gambling started for you. This probably goes back nearly a decade or so, right? Based on the conversations we've had. And then we'll kind of lead up into the point where you meet Carlos.
My gambling career was 8.5 years. It was actually 3,131 days in total. I brought it to the day, very analytical. And I placed my first bet when I went to Las Vegas with my ex-husband. And it progressed over time until my abstinence date when I placed my last bet 795 days ago.
Awesome. Okay, so when you started gambling 3,000 plus days ago, what got you into gambling in the first place?
I thought gambling was a complete waste of time and money. I had absolutely no interest in gambling. It was my ex that was like, just put a 20 in. And it was a penny machine. It was $1.50 bet on the slot machine. And I played it, 6, 8 times, and was like, that was lame. And I didn't gamble the rest of the trip, but we did return back to Vegas about 6 months later. And that's whenever I was like, let me try it again. And it went up to $60 total. And then the next trip, it was $200 total. And as time progressed, it went up.
And in between the Vegas trips, you weren't really gambling at all. You weren't thinking consumed by it. It was just once you got there, you got overly zealous about it.
At first, yes. It was completely a in Vegas thought process. I did not think about gambling outside of Las Vegas. However, as time progressed, it started to consume me. As time progressed, I started to go to Vegas more often. I started to go to the casino whenever I would visit different places. Palm Springs, went in San Juan, Puerto Rico, Hawaii, different places that I went on vacation. And as time progressed, I started to go to the Indian casinos. I ended up sampling all of them in the area, but I had my favorite. So as time progressed, I started to go more often. I started to go probably once a month to a local Indian casino. And then on October 19th, 2016, I won my first big jackpot. I had won on a dollar machine doing single line dollar. I won $5,000.
Winning is probably, would you say, like the worst thing that happened to you?
Absolutely.
Same.
I think it's why I can't relate, because as a sports gambler and a horse racing gambler, I never really had a big jolting win like that. Never. Until probably 25 years later, and it happened by an accident when I made a bet on the wrong horse on the wrong race, and I won like $9,000. Which is just
by accident.
It's the worst, greatest story ever.
And it's
but yeah, so it's interesting. So you get bit by that bug, and you're like, holy crap, let's do it again. At that point, so that hooks you in.
Did you walk out with any of that $5,000?
So from what I estimated, after walking out with 3 W2Gs, I won in total $8,000, walked out with $4,000.
But you still walked out with something.
I did.
All right.
That first time.
Yep.
That first time.
And how did that feel, walking out with all that cash?
Big shot.
Here we
Big
go.
shot. I went home and I bursted through the door. My ex was wondering where I had been, and I was secretly at the casino. And I was like, look at this. And I threw the cash onto the couch. I took pictures of the cash. I took pictures of the machine winning.
Did you roll around in the cash? That's the real question.
I could have. I could have.
Wow.
So he must have been like, where did you get this money from? Or did he know?
I immediately told him that I went to the casino. At that point, there was no shame in my game. Literally.
Wow. Okay. So then what starts to happen from that point on that now starts to get out of control and lead you ultimately to the addiction piece?
When I made that big win, and I was just throwing hundreds into machines, when I was $1, $2 max bet type of person, and I was doing, $18 a bet, I in retrospect, I knew that's when I started my compulsive gambling. And as I continued to go back, to win again, because I thought that, hey, I won this time, I'm going to win again. And as time progressed, I started to go to the casino more often. It started to become every other week, down to 1 week, a couple times a weekend, until the point where I was skipping work just to go to the casino.
Now, I think what we know about most of us in recovery is gambling addiction isn't generally about what happens financially. There's an emotional attachment to that. Are there things that you have in your past before gambling became an addiction for you that maybe led to what would become a gambling addiction? Were there other emotional traumas, et cetera, that you think may have led you to that?
Absolutely. Childhood trauma, not dealing with my emotions, bottling them in, saying I'm going with the flow, but I'm actually screaming inside and not wanting to be different, trying to fit in. I had always struggled with that. And as my life had progressed, I saw myself wanting to escape more and more. I did have, in retrospect, cross-addiction issues with marijuana, to which I'm happy to say it's been 37 days since I've used marijuana.
Nice. Congratulations.
Well done. Well done. You look
Awesome.
amazing, actually.
Thank you.
Your skin is so bright and glowing.
Okay. All right. So now fast forward to, because now you're in a marriage for many, many years. So you're withdrawing, sounds like, from that marriage. You're disappearing into the casino. Like that sounds like it's becoming your whole life. So now get to kind of that breaking point, that low moment of I've hit sort of the bottom of the barrel, that generally most of us get to some place that we can recall that it feels like that bottom.
I started to hit rock bottom in 2020, right after the pandemic reared its ugly head. It was in May of 2020. The casinos were still open, of course, and that's where I would find my escape, not only from my failing marriage, but the escape from reality. And it was never about the money. It was never about the money. For me, it was all about the escape. And as the pandemic grew on, I found that my home was the casino because it was open. I could vape my nicotine vape, and it was where I could escape from the problems that I had in my prior relationship that was failing. I was a sole gambler. Not a single person that I knew in my life gambled. My ex that introduced me was a casual gambler, but once he saw that I had a problem, he stopped gambling himself.
Ooh.
Oh, so you could never really did a resentment grow from the fact that he took you for the first time?
There is a resentment on my step four for him because he was the one that introduced me to gambling.
Interesting.
That is
Don't know anything about that.
very.
No, I'll see myself out now.
I just love that he threw step 4 right into the discussion. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and it's April.
And it's April, celebration of the 4th month of the year. All right, so we're going to break there. Thank you, Jeff, for answering all that really authentically. We're going to break there, and then when we come back into the Gambling Recovery Lounge, we're going to bring Carlos into the discussion. Everyone join us back into the Gambling Recovery Lounge. Thank you. Welcome back into the Gambling Recovery Lounge. All right, we just heard Jeff give us his background, and now we're leading into when Jeff and Carlos met. So, Carlos, welcome in.
Hey, everyone.
So, tell us about how you and Jeff met, and then what was that first question about gambling?
All right. So Jeff and I met on a dating app in October 2020. And, it was a little fun interaction at first. He said, "Hey, bud."
Bro.
So basically, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of gross, but I'll go along with it."
But now he says, "Hey there."
Right? He changed the "hey, bud" to the "hey there."
Yeah.
But one of the first things that he asked me when we were chatting was, "Do you go to the casino?" And I was like, "What the hell? Why is this guy asking me this?"
That's what we all
weird.
ask somebody that we're courting for dating. Is, do you go to the casino? Okay.
So I was like, "No, if I do go to the casino, it's only when I go to Vegas," but that was it. So, we continued to chat for a couple months, and then he invited me and my ex to go to Vegas with him and his ex-husband to Vegas for a trip. He's like, "There's a group of guys going. It'll be fun. You'll get to know my husband." He was his husband at the time. And I was like, "Sure, let's go." So we end up going to Vegas, and the day before, he said, "Hey, if I ask you to hold my debit card, will you hold my debit card?" And I thought to myself,
Interesting.
"Okay." I just responded with, Sure.
Sure.
I'll I'll
Red
hold
flags
it."
going off in your head. Like, let me make a mental note of that.
Yeah, so I had it written down too in my notes on my phone. I was like, if this guy asked me to hold it, I'll hold it for him.
You took notes in your
Yeah,
phone on that.
just to remember.
I like that. Oh, now let me ask you a question. Had you ever gambled at all in your life before this?
So when I would go to Vegas, my max was like $40. Yeah. My ex took me to Vegas for the first time when I was 20. I had a fake ID.
Of course you
So
did.
he was like, "Hey, let's go to Vegas." And I was like, "Do you think this is even going to pass?" And he said, "Yeah, that looks like you." Totally didn't even look like me, but whatever. We still went and went to Circus. And he brought me down to the, machines, and he's like, "Here's a 20. Try, see what happens." So he started, we played the dollar machine, which I was like, "Hey, this is too much." And then he's like, "Well, there's pennies." And I was like, "All right, whatever. Let's do it." So he gave me another 20, and I was like, "All right, let's not do this anymore. I don't like, spending money when I can go to McDonald's and get a 10-piece chicken nugget with that $20.
That's what it sounds like. Those are the words coming out of somebody that can gamble for fun and entertainment.
Right. Okay, so now you meet Jeff. Now you go to Vegas together.
Yep. So we go to Vegas in February of 2021. And as soon as we get there, everyone settles in. We meet at the casino, and Jeff's gone. He's nowhere to be found, and everyone's like, "Well, where's Jeff? We're going to go eat." Nowhere to be found. So we end up, walking to where we're going to have dinner. And then Jeff finally arrives, but he's way behind us, and we're walking ahead. We have dinner, go back, and Jeff goes to the casino again. The next day, he tells me, "Hey, I might have you hold my debit card." Then I said, "Okay, sure." So, the day kept going, and then he just kept disappearing. He kept going from one casino to the other because we were close. The casinos are like side by side. So he wasn't getting money on one, so he would walk out to the next one. Then finally, I saw him after he had disappeared for a couple hours, and I was like, "Hey, where have you been?" And he's like, "I need to stop. I can't stop, but I want to stop." Yeah, so then I was like, "Well, give me your debit card." And then he's like, "No, I'm going to go get more money." So he gets up and walks away, and I'm just like, all right, I don't know how to help this guy.
Now, Jeff, did you have any qualms about asking this, guy that you're in a new relationship with, to hold your debit card? Or, I mean, obviously you said it, and then obviously you were like, forget it. But did it ever dawn on you that maybe that was maybe going to be a turnoff for him?
Absolutely. I was afraid that it was a fear of mine that he would judge me for asking such a ridiculous question early in the relationship. But I knew I had a problem.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to address it.
Yeah.
So would you say, Jeff, that was like a initial cry for help?
One of many. One of many.
Yeah. But that's really, I mean, I think about my own journey and how many years it took me to utter any thought that I had a gambling problem. And it was not till for sure over 25 years in before I first said it to Edgardo that I have a problem. So that's amazing that early in the relationship you were reaching out for help. And can you guys, just for the audience perspective, if you guys don't mind, what your ages are?
I am 38.
Okay.
And I'm 40.
Okay. This experience is happening now in the casino, and you're being asked to hold the debit card. So how does that kind of now morph into the next several months of your relationship to where ultimately for Jeff there's a kind of a rock bottom of where he comes now into looking for help?
So at the time when we were in Vegas, which was in February of 2021, him and I were just friends. And then, we kept hanging out, and it was just, casual hanging out, going out for dinner, drinks. And then he asked me out July 1st of 2021. And then that's when the stuff really started to actually happen. I got together with him and I was like, sure, I'll be your boyfriend. And that I felt for him was, all right, I'm just going to, show you who I am. So he would ask me to go to the casino. Immediately after he asked me out, probably like the second, third week, he was like, hey, do you want to go to the casino? And I was like, aren't they in Vegas? And he's like, no, there's one, driving. I could drive. It's 2 hours away. Then I was like, no, I'm okay. So finally, I came over one night and he said, hey, we're going to go on a field trip.
The old mystery trip. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I said, okay, well, where are we going? He's like, it's going to be a nice place. You're going to like it. We're going to have dinner. And I was like, oh, that's cool. We're going for dinner. So sit in the car, and I can't see the navigation because he didn't have it on the screen. It was on his phone, but hidden towards like the left side. So where the door's at. And we get there and I'm like, shit, this is a casino. And he's like, surprise. And I was like, what are we going to eat here? Because I did
not your 5-star restaurant.
Yeah, I was like, I
chips.
don't know. Because from the Vegas casinos, I know they have like fast food. And I was like, I don't want to eat fucking McDonald's.
We just drove 2 hours for McDonald's.
That's what I thought. I was like, we're just going to drive for McDonald's. Okay. But immediately he's like, I'm just going to play like $100 and then we'll find something to eat. And that, $100 became $500, $1,000. We never went to eat.
So did he keep like making runs to the ATM as that money's escalating, or how was that actually happening?
He would pull out $500. And if those $500 were done, he would go back to the cashier and pull out more money. I never asked him, where was he getting this money or where was he pulling it from? I was just like, hey, he's a grown-ass man. He can pull the money. So, it kept going to we kept going to the casino after that, probably twice a week. And it was more, he would tell me, I'm kidnapping you, and we'll drive over to the casino again. I didn't notice that it was a problem until maybe 3 months in. And I had asked him, like, hey, do you think you have a gambling addiction? And he said, no, it's just fun for me. I said, okay.
Pass the
And
potatoes.
that was a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as it kept going, he kept being a little mean and aggressive. There was this one time we went to Palm Springs, and there's 4 of them out there. We were in Palm Springs, and he wanted to gamble, and we were hanging out with friends. It was I think it was Memorial Day weekend, so we were just there for fun, and he lashed out. That was the first time he ever lashed out at me because of wanting to go and gamble. And it was really bad. He kept saying, I want to go. And I kept saying no. So finally he just started yelling at me in front of everyone in the pool, saying, I want to go. And I said, I don't know what to do. And I walked away. And of course, everyone's coming up to me like, what's going on? I don't know. He just wants to go to the casino.
So, Jeff, take us back to that. You remember it well. What was going on?
Oh, yes. I remember it well. I had such a desire to go to the casino. And when I was being told no, it just made me incredibly angry, frustrated. And I was lashing out. I mean, that is exactly what I did. I was lashing out towards Carlos, towards anyone that interacted with me. I pretty much barricaded myself in the hotel room while everyone was outside by the pool having fun because I couldn't go to the casino. So, screw everyone else. I'm staying in the hotel room, and I would cry. I wanted to go to the casino so bad.
You were like a 2-year-old having a temper tantrum.
Absolutely, wasn't I?
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. I mean, that's the craziness of this illness. Grown people brought to their knees and going literally insane in their own heads. All of us, I think, have experienced that, right? Okay, so now get to the bottom, because you make a decision at some point in time coming up here, you're going to go seek help. What happened? What was that breaking point moment that got you to go seek help for the first time?
For the first time, I went to a Zoom Gamblers Anonymous meeting in September of 2021. And I went to 2 meetings. I wasn't ready.
Did you research those by your own accord, or were you being coaxed by Carlos or somebody else, or like how did that even happen?
Carlos had mentioned it to me, but I did the research, and I was the one that actually brought myself to the meeting.
Okay.
I had decided to go to the meeting as I was hysterically crying going down the 210. I was done. And I attended a meeting via Zoom in the car, and then another one at home. And I decided it wasn't for me. I would rather just gamble.
Wow. All right. Let's take a break there, and we're going to continue now with Jeff's story with Carlos when we come back into the Gambling Recovery Lounge. Welcome back into the Gambling Recovery Lounge. All right, Alyssa, you have a follow-up question?
I do. I have a follow-up question for Carlos, actually. So, Carlos, you talked about the temper tantrum. Jeff agreed that he had a temper tantrum. What other things did Jeff do to kind of like manipulate you?
So what Jeff did was he would use the I'm going to kill myself card. So a lot of the times when I would say no to going to the casino, he would say, well, I'm just going to kill myself. This is the last time you're going to hear from me. And he will shut his phone off. And I was like, holy crap, this guy is actually going to do it. So there were a couple times where I had to let his ex know that I couldn't get a hold of him and that I was scared that he was going to do something.
So did you give in that time?
I did. A lot of the times that was his thing to say to me. So I agreed to go with him. Yeah. So a lot of the times it was, all right, let's just go. Even though I did not want to be there.
Yeah.
It was just like, do I want this guy to kill himself or do I just go? So I would just go.
I'm sure inside, and Jeff, I mean, I direct this question to you. Did you, in that moment, did you feel like you wanted to kill yourself, or you would have to kill yourself if you didn't get to the casino?
Yes.
Because the urge is so strong.
It is. The urge was terribly strong, and I would do whatever it took to get my way. But in the moment, I was willing to actually follow through.
Yeah.
I knew that I was very self-destructive, and I was willing to do whatever it took to get my way. And if I didn't get my way, I was willing to kill myself.
And do you still act like that? Do you still have temper tantrums?
No, he does not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look, you passed. Report card A+.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's what recovery will do for you, I guess.
So in those moments, did you ever contemplate a plan of suicide at any point along the way as you're making these quote unquote idle threats to manipulate Carlos?
No, I didn't. I did have active thoughts of killing myself leaving the casino, completely destitute. And I would think about the money that I lost because in the act of gambling, it was never about the money. But whenever I left the casino, realizing what I did, I was willing to kill myself. And whenever I would manipulate Carlos with the idle threats, I never had a plan. I wanted to, but I never had a plan at that time.
So do you know why you were bringing him into your misery as opposed to just you keep doing the casino by the way you wanted to do it? Why did he have to come into your web of destruction?
We were together 24/7. And I knew that there was no sneaking around it because my gambling was tied to a physical location. And that was 2 hours away. So I had to get his buy-in in order to go.
Got it. So it was like you were really enjoying him being in your life. You were maybe falling in love or could be falling in love. Mm-hmm. But what was overpowering beyond all of that was you got to get to the casino at all cost.
My desire to gamble superseded the love that that was growing for Carlos.
That's powerful. Do you think that there was anything, because you and Carlos, as you were gambling, as your relationship grew, do you feel like he didn't really get to know who you really are because you were a different person while you were gambling?
First year that we knew each other into the relationship until my abstinence date, we really didn't know each other the way that couples would get to know each other. Again, I was an escapist. I would be quiet. I wouldn't be participatory in my own life. And I definitely was not participatory in a life that we were having together.
All right. So you talked about your first couple Zoom meetings in GA, and then you're like, fuck it. This isn't for me. I'm just going to go make a mess of myself some more. Okay. So now you do that some more. So then what happens?
So on February 22nd, 2022, I had gone to the casino with Carlos, and he had threatened to leave me at the casino. He even called a friend of his to come pick him up 2 hours away. And I said, screw you. And I was 100% okay having him walk out the door while I was glued to that machine.
Felt like you were like an out of body experience, like you couldn't believe this was actually happening to you at the time.
Yeah. I just was zombie gambling, where you're just staring at the screen, hitting the button over and over again. 100 in, 100 in, 100 in. And as he threatened and physically left the area of the casino that we were in, I let him go until I had a moment where I was like, shit, what did I just do? And I literally ran through the casino to go find him by the exit.
Romantic. It's like a movie.
It does sound like a movie.
Rom-com going on.
It
But-
totally was.
Yeah. So Carlos, let's ask your frame of mind as that event is playing out. What's happening for you as all that is going on?
So I had stepped away after just standing behind him, watching him, hit the button. And I was like, I'm going to go and use the restroom. I came back and he had hit a jackpot, and it was a lot of money. And I was like, hey, come on, cash out. Let's go. And he kept saying, just $500 more. And I was like, no, dude, let's go. So he said, I'm going to do what I want to do. You're not my boss.
Oh,
So
I like how Jeff didn't say that part.
You forgot to mention. Or
Right.
failed to.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, well, fuck you, dude. I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
And called a friend, and I was like, hey, this is what's going on. I need someone to pick me up. So he's like, I'm on my way. And I said, hey, I'm leaving. And as I'm walking away, all I hear is someone screaming my name. And then I'm like, oh shit, it's Jeff. So I said, I am not turning back. I kept walking, and then it was just like a movie. He just
He
grabbed
tackled
me
you.
and, turned me around like, please don't leave. And it was just tears after that for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what did you say in that moments, Jeff, to him?
I profusely was apologizing. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't stop. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm going to get help. I don't know what to do, but I'm going to get help. And whenever we got home, I went to a Zoom meeting. And that Zoom meeting was the moment where I realized that's what I needed to do, is go to the meetings. And at first I was going because I wanted to fix us. But in time, I realized I needed the meetings.
And it's stuck from there.
Sure did.
You haven't made a bet since February 22nd, 2022.
About that, actually, I've always wanted to know this. Did you plan that, not plan that day, but were you like, okay, if out of any of these days that I'm at the casino this week and I'm losing all my money and I'm desolate, I think I'm going to pick this one because the number's good.
Partly, but mostly no, only because I did find February 22nd, 2022 to be, that's a lucky date. I'm going to win a lot of money.
Oh, okay. So it just worked out well like that
It
because you thought you were going to be lucky, and then you were lucky because you got into the rooms.
I did. And as I've said in the rooms, on February 22nd, 2022, I hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
And that was finding Gamblers Anonymous.
And us.
Oh, well, of course.
So now you start going, to in-person meetings. So you're now on your recovery journey. So Carlos, for you, as he's now embarking on recovery and he's going to these meetings, you're not going, or maybe, well, did you go to him? Did you go with him to any initial meetings that he went to, or was it more you go do your thing and kind of fill me in on what's going on?
So his first couple meetings, I did not go with him. He asked me to go with him once, and it was in Westlake Village. And I said, sure, I'll go. So I went and I had my first GA experience with him. And I was happy for him. The stuff that I heard and just the stuff that was coming out of his mouth during his share, I was like, wow, he's taking this seriously. So I was very proud of him. Then after that, it was me going to, other meetings with him just to show my support.
Okay. So so he's going to meetings. You're sometimes going with him, sometimes you're not. So where do you now fit in this whole picture about, here I'm Carlos. I've been the person hurt by this gambler. I didn't ask for this. Here I am. I'm in the throes of this thing. And now there's these meetings and I'm in the middle of that. Like, what is going through your mind? Because I think this is the piece that so many people out there that are listening have this really tough time wrapping their arms around, for those that don't engage with their problem gambler that are in their lives. What is actually transpiring in your own head about this process as this is happening?
So for me, it was all new to me because I've never had to deal with anyone with an addiction. And, once he started going to these meetings, my thought process was, I love this man. I want to be there for him. So I'm going to do whatever I can do to support and help him with, his recovering journey. Because I wanted him to be normal. I wanted him to be present. I wanted him to be the guy that I first met before the casinos. Because he was fun. But then it just went downhill after that.
Quickly.
Yeah, very fast. He asked me to go with him to a mini conference, and I think it was Westlake.
It was Westlake Village. That was August of 2022. I remember it well.
Recovery rocks.
It was Recovery
Yes.
Rocks.
Yes.
Yep.
It's wonderful.
I still have my rock, by the way.
Yeah.
So I decided, I was like, let's go. Let's do it. And that's where I met all of you, actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember it.
Yep. I met
We had lunch
Eric.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's where you met Edgardo. Oh,
Yeah, I
wow.
met Edgardo there. Yeah, so that mini conference for me was what got me interested in joining Gam-Anon, because there were some workshops, and I remember the one that actually was a powerful one for me was the one where you go and they turn off the lights. If you remember that one, I know you guys were in there.
Oh, I remember because I cried my eyes out when I was going through that experience.
Yeah, so I heard some shares in that room that I was like, wow, that's me. Like, I need this. This is for me. So I remember you guys suggesting the Thursday combined meeting through Zoom, and I was like, I'm going to do it. So that's where it took off for me. I remember my first meeting was September 1st, 2022.
So, Carlos, there had to be a point somewhere along this way where you made a decision. I'm going to also focus on me as an individual in my own healing, because your feelings and your process of all of this is as important as Jeff's. Do you kind of remember when you came to that place and what you did at that point?
Yeah, so, a couple of meetings that we had gone to on Thursday, I had heard a lot of shares from the Gam-Anon side. And a lot of the things that they were sharing, I was like, wait, I feel that way. I'm like, that's me. And some of it was, from people that have been there for years saying how they were taking care of themselves and they were putting themselves first and letting their gambler do their own recovery. So then I said, hey, that's what I need. I need to focus on myself so I can be a better me for myself. And when I decided to do that, I felt like my life changed completely, because not only was I, coming to terms with my defects, I was also growing more, how would I say this? As a person, I guess. I was growing more as a person and finding myself, because I didn't know what the hell was going on with me at the time, but I was depressed. I was angry because of all the stuff that I had gone through with Jeff. I had isolated myself from everyone, including my family. And I wanted that back. Like, I wanted to be the Carlos that I was before. So I said to myself, I need to fix this. I need to fix me. I need to focus on me. I need to let Jeff do what he has to do and just go from there. And the experience has been great. I've learned so much about myself, and it's all thanks to the program. I'm just super grateful that I found it, and I decided to take care of myself before worrying about what Jeff's doing.
You got to put that oxygen mask on yourself before you can help someone.
And that's what for a long time, I didn't do that. I was always focused on what Jeff was doing and his recovery, and I wanted to help him out, but I wasn't helping myself. So when I finally decided to do it, it was very eye-opening for me.
Jeff, how did you feel about Carlos coming into recovery with you and kind of having his own journey alongside you?
At first, I was scared. I had fears that he would find himself in a position where he would say, screw Jeff, and just no longer want to be with me. And I was ran by fear.
I want to get back to more of that piece between you two. I want to turn a little bit to Jeff now, as you're now exploring your recovery, and now you're getting several months, and now you maybe get towards 6 months, etc. What starts to kind of shift for you in your recovery?
So I would say the shifting of my recovery really began when I met my second sponsor, and I explored new meeting options outside of the steady meeting that I went to weekly. And it was a focus on pride and recovery. And that was in Griffith Park.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff, do you want to talk about the night you and I met at Westlake Village and the discussion we had?
Sure. So at Westlake Village, it was another normal meeting for me. And this complete stranger came into the room. And during his share, I had found out that he identified as a gay man. And for me, I was completely floored, because I believed that being homosexual in recovery was non-existent. And being able to chat with you after the meeting and really connect, it was that connection. I had discovered that I really wasn't alone. And by the ability to go to the new meeting, learning about the new meeting that was about to commence, I was elated that there was enough traction in the program that would attract people that were not only like myself, but allies as well. And ever since, with the exception of a small handful for the past, 20 months, I've been going to that meeting every week.
So what would you say, Jeff, in your 2+ years now of recovery have been sort of the cornerstones of your journey and what's kept you in recovery and sort of what your new life is centered around?
The cornerstones of my recovery would be meeting my current sponsor, Eric. The creation and attendance of the Pride in Recovery meeting in Griffith Park. And I'd probably say actually learning my higher power existed. I was spiritually lost for my whole life. I equated religion with spirituality, and by learning that there was a distinct difference and being able to learn and grow and be able to just hand it over to my higher power and remove that control that I thought that I had to be in control of everything. By releasing that control and handing my life and my will over to my higher power was such a huge relief on me and really helped me accelerate my recovery.
Well, all of us are really grateful for the amount of service you give to the whole program. Carlos, I want to go back to a question for you. So Jeff's progressing now in recovery. You're progressing in your own journey in Gam-Anon. Is there any resentments that are building along the way as you're going through that journey and Jeff's going through his journey and you're experiencing these new feelings and you're getting more in touch with yourself and Jeff's getting more in touch with himself and you're both growing? Like, what's happening for you emotionally and all that?
So funny you asked that. We were talking about that a couple of weeks ago. I don't have any resentments towards Jeff. I think that, what he was going through was hard and I didn't understand it. But now that I do, I know he wasn't doing the things he was doing out of, that wasn't him. It was the gambling, and that was what the gambling was having him act like. So I don't think that I hold any resentment towards him. I wish I did.
I wish I did.
Yet.
There's an honest answer. Do you
kidding,
think no? Because I know a big part of the Gam-Anon program, it teaches the person affected that gambling illness or gambling addiction is an illness, not that the person is making choices to be this horrible, destructive person. Do you feel like you needed to learn that through your own program and journey to really understand that, and that if you never embarked upon that for yourself, you may have not gotten to that point?
Oh, absolutely. I think that if I did not get so involved in Gam-Anon, I would have never known that it was because of the gambling. I would have just been like, I probably wouldn't even be with him. I wouldn't be with him if I didn't get into the program, to be honest. I would have walked away that night.
As I've said, our program saved our relationship. It truly did.
Yeah,
So it's so beautiful.
It really is.
So closing, I would say maybe first, Jeff, could you share for the newcomer from a gambler's perspective that's on day one and listening to this and feeling like this is impossible, that I can't make another bet because you've been there multiple times. What's the message?
Although I would like to quote page 17 in its entirety from the combo book, I would actually say the number one thing would be patient. The days and weeks will pass soon enough.
And Carlos, from the person who's been affected by someone's gambling and gone through that torture, because many people in your predicament will never seek that help, and they will not participate in their gambler's recovery or their own. They will sit on the sidelines. That's the majority, I think, of what we see in the recovery space. So what's your message to the person out there who has been affected by, whether it's their partner, or maybe they're a parent or a child of a gambler? What words of wisdom, now that you've gone through this and your life has been transformed positively, what message do you want to send?
So what I would say to someone that is going through the same thing is there is hope. You know, when you come into the rooms, you feel ashamed and just destroyed emotionally, physically sometimes. But there is hope. There are people in these rooms that are going to help you. They are going to guide you to a way of loving yourself and loving life. That's what I've learned from these rooms, is there is hope. There is a way to get back to that happy place, because we all deserve to be happy.
Yeah. And hope is really an important thing that I think people need to hear, that, because that's something that people oftentimes, anybody that's listening, that's out there that, you know, is listening because they coming back from the casino broke and, you know, hopeless, to hear that there's hope for the loved one, for the gambler. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
It's a beautiful story. And we're going to end on a very positive note. You guys recently have a pretty special announcement to make. So talk about it.
Jeff proposed 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
So we are getting married.
So exciting.
I'm excited about.
Awesome.
I was surprised, but I was like, you want to marry little old me?
Aww. Well, he kept it a really good secret because I didn't. Maybe Eric knew, but I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I actually told Eric the day of.
Oh, okay. So not even that much. Like,
no.
You really kept it a secret.
I did, and it was intentional. I wanted to think about the different aspects of it. I consulted with my higher power. I already knew Eric's answer would be yes, go for it. Because I've been working on my recovery for several years, and I'm in a emotionally good headspace to proceed with such a major life change. And the love that I have for Carlos is definitely visible.
Yes, it definitely is visible. I'm so happy for you both. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are just a total inspiration to the fellowship of both programs, and I think even outside of whether somebody's pursuing the fellowships that we're all in, or they're going on their own journeys of recovery in whatever programs they're doing, it is extraordinary to watch life transformations happen right before our eyes. And you guys are that perfect glowing example of what happens when you enter recovery, you do the work, and you really, really want the best for yourselves as individuals, and then work on something together. And I'm blessed to be in a similar situation with Edgardo. Alyssa, I know you're blessed to be in the same situation with Sebastian. Yeah?
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. No, of course. Absolutely. Love Sebastian.
You had to just sandbag that.
Yeah, I had to anything to
comedian in
rile
the
him
room.
up a little bit, Can't let him get, think that I'm too in love with him.
Well, this has been absolutely awesome. Thank you guys for coming into the Gambling Recovery Lounge. I know a lot of people are going to benefit from this. And, again, when we really wanted to do this podcast, this was about telling both sides of the journey, because the person that's been hurt by the gambler, they have their own journey. And so many people don't find the help. They don't seek the help. They don't search for the help themselves. And, like Edgardo told his story a few weeks ago, and now Carlos, you're talking about your journey, and now you guys coming together and all of us around you getting to watch this miracle unfold. The amount of resonation that has outward is just unbelievable. So thank you for coming in and being vulnerable and raw and sharing that tonight. And, sky's the limit from here.
And thank you for your friendship, because I adore you
We love
both
you guys.
so much, and I'm so happy to have you in my life.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us here in the Gambling Recovery Lounge. Thank you for your friendship, sponsorship. I mean, just life-changing. Thank you so much.
Love fest over here.
Big love fest.
Big love. Thank you, Eric, for Edgardo.
Thank you, guys. That is a wrap on experience number 6. Thank you all for coming, and please come back in the Gambling Recovery Lounge.